So let's get started. Well, hello everyone. In this video, what we're going to present is something that we were playing with in the office. Basically, as you all know, we love XPO as our favorite ORM or data access. So yesterday, doing a small research, like Sunday morning research, um, I bumped into machineLearning.net, which is a machine learning framework from Microsoft, which is actually really cool because you don't need to know that much or anything about machine learning. It's like somehow like really easy to get into. So I was so interesting, like I was curious about it, let's say. Okay, so I was doing a little research and I end up uh, going to YouTube as I always do and then type ml.net. So I found this one. And as they show it, it's like really easy, just a few lines. And when you finish that video, in the end, they'll show you a wizard that you can use to add machine learning capabilities to your project. So I thought, oh, this is amazing, it's so easy. So let's see how it works, basically. So I end up doing stuff like this. Let's see this. Okay, here we have Visual Studio, like a normal instance, and I added the extension that they say, like the machine learning extension. So you have to do something like this: add to the project, add machine learning. And here you have the possible scenarios that you can pick, and it will generate the code for you. So I did the same as in the video. I picked sentimental analysis or sentiment analysis, and then I saw, oh wait, where can I get my data from? And in this case, there is two options. I mean, there are two options: from a file or from a database. So I downloaded the examples from their site. So I have one here, and I want to evaluate the sentiment. And after that, you have to train the machine learning. So it will go through this data a few times and figure out what is the sentiment of each sentence. So let's do it. So far so good, but in the end I always end up in this screen, and I was not able to read the file, the sample file that I download from their site. And I have two options: this or a database, but I use XPO as data access. So I was thinking, why cannot I use XPO instead? It will be way better, actually. So then I end up in a rabbit hole of information, like I get really curious about. So I downloaded the source of machine learning, the ml.net, and that is here. So I don't check how they do it. I mean, and basically they use an implementation of two classes, the eDataView interface and also a cursor, something that will return data rows, I think. So let's see. Here we don't have the source code of that one. No. Okay, well, we only need to see the data view actually. So I said like, well, I can implement that. It just looked like a cursor that I need to get data pumping. So I said, well, I will learn how to do it. And again, the rabbit hole of information. And I ended up, let's see. I ended up, hold on, I have so many here. No, it's not, is this one. Okay, so I ended up here, which is the implementation. This is an example of the implementation of the E data view. So basically, this example, they are using not a file or an SQL server. What they are using is a enumerable, but an enumerable of T. So it's strongly typed. So in here they show an implementation of this interface. So the implementation is here. Basically, you need to do an implementation of the E data view, and also you need to create a cursor class, which is here. So then I said, well, I think I can write that in for XPO. So basically, I did it, and now we have this project. Here is the README. I was working on that, and let me close everything and let me show you. So basically, in their example, they have a data structure, which is this one. So they create an array basically of input objects. And with that array, they create an input object data view. So this is the object that they created that implements the iData view interface for an enumerable type of object. So after that, they run the process of the machine learning, and they execute the cursor, and basically this will do a tokenization of the words in this text. So we'll split the text by words, basically. So, well, then what I did is like I copied this and I created a new project, this one. And basically I created some unit tests, basically. And here in the Microsoft example, is basically their code. It's a copy paste of their code, of the example in the link that I just show you. So if I run this, I will put a breakpoint so we can like step over. So basically, here we'll print 3 lines. Oh, I didn't clean the console. Oops. Let's start over. I will put here instead. And let me execute the test. So here you can see the output. So basically, the machine learning split the sentences in words. So now, since I implemented this object for XPO, here I have another test. This is the same, exactly the same code as the Microsoft code, but the main difference is that I'm not using an enumerable of T. Or actually, it's not an enumerable of T. Is let's see, is this one? Is an enumerable of input object. So in my XPO example, basically I created a data store, then I set up a data layer, I created a unit of work, then I created an input object. This input object mimics the example input object. So it's an object with just 2 properties, label and text. So I just wanted to create exactly the same schema and run the same example and see if I have the same output. So basically after that, what I do is I have the XP view and I add some properties to it, the ones that I want to show or that I want to process actually. And then I create an XPO input object data view. I think I will rename that in the end because I always use really cryptic names or maybe too explicit names. So I maybe will rename it to something shorter, later. So basically, this returns e-data view. So I can do this. So you will see that it actually implements this interface. So from this on, it's exactly the same code as Microsoft, and it's exactly the same outputs as the one from Microsoft. So basically, I replaced the data source that they have with an XPO data source. So let me run this again. And see, the output is exactly the same, and the count is the same actually. So basically, I was able to replace the data source that they created for the one that used XPO. And now the last example, this again is basically the same. It's a mix of the other two. So I created, the main difference in this example is that I use a different object model. So if I go to this object, this is an object that is a little bit larger than the other. It contains more properties. So I wanted to prove that there is nothing hard code in the implementation and that you can use any of your XPO classes as data source for machine learning. So this is a little bit different. The name of the fields are different. I mean, the properties are different. So if I go to the test, it's exactly the same test, but I'm using a different model object or an XPO object, actually. And then I create the view again, but I also add something new, that is I pass a criteria operator to to the um, the view. So it's also filter. So in this case, you're able to access your data from an XPO class and also filter it and give it to the machine learning engine as data source. So that's basically what I wanted. Basically, I wanted to use XPO because it's my preferred tool for data access as a data source for machine learning. So basically, that's it. I mean, there is a really small implementation of two classes in here, the eData view, which actually is the class XPO input object data view that I'm going to rename because the name is too long, and the cursor, which is again also a really long name. But that's what you need actually. And I don't know that much about machine learning. Actually, I'm learning that is like one of my new interests. But the examples and the code from Microsoft are really great actually. So I will be adding any like new features that I think that we need as an XPO like users. I will add it to this project. So the more that I learn, the more time that I spend using machine learning, the bigger set of tools that we will have as an XPO user um, to use in our projects actually. So, and soon after like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, this will become a NuGet package. So you can use it in your project. So basically that's it. If you have any question about this, just contact us in the Facebook group. And the contact information is also at the beginning of the video. So, well, thanks for your time. And if you're using machine learning in your project and you're using XPO, just give it a try and let me know your thoughts about it.